This season, we've witnessed a lot of unprecedented things. A team trading away their franchise center and at the time all-time leader in threes made in Karl Anthony Towns before the season even began. A team trading away their young franchise player in Nikola Jokic because of injury risk for a guy who's unfortunately injured a lot and has been for the majority of his career. A team firing their head coach in Taylor Jenkins to promote their top assistant before other teams could lure him away. That was pretty cold. And now a team firing not only their championship-winning head coach, but their GM as well, 3 games before the playoffs. Hey Adam, you order up all this drama for the ratings, eh? I'm just kidding, of course. So what's the real reason why Denver decided to part ways with the winningest coach in their franchise's history this close to the playoffs, and how will this affect Nikola Jokic's future? Let's dive into it. Alright, let's pause for a quick shout out to Rakuten, who is not sponsoring this video by the way. They're just the #1 option for cashback with online shopping. I use Rakuten whether it's through the website or the app every time I shop online, and I have a link in the description down below. Now, I'm completely transparent. This is an affiliate link. I will get credit if you go to this link, but most importantly, you will get credit because when you spend $30, you'll get $30 back, and whatever store that you're shopping at, depending on the cashback that they're giving right now, you'll get that percentage back as well. It's legit. I've used this for years. Think about it like this. Support my channel through the link by buying whatever you want online. That's a pretty good deal, right? Let's get back to the video. Welcome to Topic Tackle by yours truly, Josh Carson JC3. Look, if you want to get rewarded for supporting the channel, Rakuten is indeed a great option. You will reward yourself by going there. So check out the description and hitting the like and subscribe buttons. Those are quick and easy ways to also support what we got going on around here as well. I appreciate y'all. Let's get into this. All right, before we react to this news, let's go over the facts at hand here. So, Mike Malone has been the Nuggets coach since 2015 after getting let go by the Sacramento Kings, a move that, trust me, has stung Kings fans ever since. I hear from them a lot, so I know this to be a fact. And all I'm going to say real quick here about this is that the Kings better pounce on this because Denver plays at Sacramento on Wednesday night, and I know a lot of Kings fans would love to see Mike Malone back on their sidelines. You know, they can dream at least. That's like my crazy vision for them, but you never know. Crazier things can happen. Anyway, Malone has since went on to become the winningest head coach in Nuggets history. He has a 471 and 327 record. That's 59% win percentage. According to Sports Illustrated, the timing of this firing ties for the latest firing in a season in NBA history with the coach turned legendary broadcaster Hubie Brown shout out. He got let go by the Hawks with 3 games remaining in the 1981 season. The Nuggets have gone 11-13 since the All-Star break, with their offensive efficiency going from 3rd to 15th. Denver has dropped to 20th in defense this year as well, a far cry from where they need to be to compete for a championship. They're currently on a 4-game losing streak and have a 47% chance to fall into the play-in. How did that happen all of a sudden? And these firings come just 4 days after this moment from Jokic on the sidelines, in which honestly, man, I've never seen the man this animated and this frustrated before. Maybe we should have known something was coming. ESPN's Shams reports that there has been a Cold War, between Malone and GM Calvin Booth, and that this was inevitable, that one of them was eventually going to be let go. But both at the same time, it comes as a shock for sure. Here's what Nuggets owner Josh Carson said about Denver's decision to fire them both.
All right, here with Josh Carson. Always a tough day to make tough decisions like this. What was the thought process in making this decision now?
This wasn't a decision that was taken lightly or taken as in a reactionary fashion to anything specific. Having observed our group over a very long period of time, what I would say is that, having observed that group over a period of time, there were certain trends that were very worrisome to me at different points in time. But they would get masked by a few wins here and there. And, in the world of professional sports, when winning and losing is your currency, winning can mask a lot of things. We went on an eight-game win streak right before the All-Star break. But since then, I think we're 11-13. We've lost our last 4, and we're trending towards a direction that I thought would probably be a very near end to our a very near end to our season in the near future. And so all that taken into consideration, wanted to try to figure out a way to potentially squeeze as much juice out of the rest of the season as possible. And I think that, after talking with my father in recent days, we came to the decision that we were going to be changing these roles at the end of the season. And that, with that thinking in our mind that we know that we're going to be changing these roles at the end of the season, then your mind then turns to, well, what is the best decision for this group right now? And, from that point forward, I think that, I became comfortable with the thinking of, let's try to shake this tree and squeeze as much out of this as we can. And that's where we arrived at with the decision.
Well, okay, a lot of analogies there. Trees, oranges, very interesting. Sounds like a little bit of what can I say? Language for damage control. Is this the real reason why Malone was fired? Because of trends that management, ownership here, noticed that could have led to an early end to this season, earlier than they would have liked? Or does it go beyond that? Let's explore the beyond, okay? So my first reaction to hearing this news today, that Malone, the GM, but Malone in particular was fired, was, well, it's like they trying to one-up Dallas for dismantling their team quicker. All they would have needed to do was trade Jokic before this, and you know what? They would have been there. But since then, okay, I've taken a step back to consider the other side of the argument as well. And it's this: was the writing on the wall for this to happen? Well, for the GM, Calvin Booth's future in the Mile High City, yes. All right, Denver, they did not have a good offseason in 2024. They lost Kentavious Caldwell-Pope to free agency, and they didn't really bring in any real replacement and help for Jokic and Murray. And although the Nuggets went to 7 games with the Wolves in the 24 semifinals, it looked like they collapsed multiple times throughout that series. Now, that just might be my opinion, but let me tell you, okay? We all saw what happened on the TV, or if you were there in person, okay? Games 1 and 2, especially game 2, the Wolves defense, it looked like it was absolutely suffocating Denver. There's plays where Jamal Murray looks like he can't even dribble. It was crazy. And then in game 7, they battle back in the series, but they get to game 7, they blow a 20-point lead at home and lose the series. Since then, they've gone 0-4 against the Wolves in the 2025 season, and not even a 60-point triple-double from Jokic could help them overcome Minnesota. There's also been some talking points about how Malone lost the locker room, and this is actually one of them that my mind went to shortly after hearing this. It was back from the preseason. This is October 14th of 2024.
Played that starting unit the whole third quarter to try to push their envelope a little bit. And, that was probably a little bit hard on some of those guys. And then in practice, I think, we can get up and down more. I think so often as coaches in modern day NBA, the league has gotten so soft, everybody's afraid to condition and run. We have to.
So yeah, exactly. You don't really hear that from today's coaches, especially in the preseason. Perhaps that did not go down well with a lot of players within the organization. And then after a bad road loss to the Blazers this season, you have this where he says players were not watching film, but then you have this comment right here. So he got fired for keeping them accountable. And exactly, right? That's the argument that some are going to have. And there's a lot of folks out there who love what Malone brings to the sidelines. If we look at this right here, and this was just posted today in the NBA Reddit, he's the best coach in franchise history, a championship winner that legitimately moved the needle for their title-winning year. Disgracing him like this is insanity. Even if you made this decision, let the playoff exit happen and help him save face. Here's another guy right here. Denver really speed ran the fall of a franchise. Golly. I don't know. Like Dallas might have already done that. Yeah, but, my own comment section on a recent poll tends to agree with comments like this about Malone. Although there are comments on there as well that said, they have gotten worse every year and are squandering Jokic's prime. That type of comment, it seems to cut through. And so what about Nikola Jokic? Mike Malone is the only coach he's ever played for in his 10-year career, ever since he got drafted during the Taco Bell commercial. And then you got Kendrick Perkins, he'll always be talking, right? But he said this. I want to see what your reaction to this would be.
I know reports are probably going to continue to come out. I know this is fresh, but it's nowhere in hell you can make me believe with a player to that stature that he didn't have anything or say as far as Michael Malone being fired. I said the same thing when Mike Budenholzer was let go from the Milwaukee Bucks. It's okay. I never said I had a problem with players having a say in who they want as their coach or if they need a new voice. My only problem that I ever had with players is them not owning it. And I'm not saying that Jokic is not going to own it. Hell, we may not ever hear reports. They may keep it tight niche. They may protect them, which they should do, which is why they fired both the GM and the coach, because they're saying, we got Nikola Jokic. We got to make sure we protect him. We got to make sure that he retire as a Denver Nugget and deliver another championship.
Well, certainly.
I don't know. Personally, I think he's trying to start something here. I mean, he's getting on TV and saying through so many words that Jokic had something to do with it. But Jokic seems like the last guy who'd go to the front office to make his voice heard about a potential coaching change. I mean, really? But maybe he puts on that, I could care less image to orchestrate this kind of thing behind the scenes. Again, highly unlikely, okay? So what's the real reason Malone got fired? We've talked about a lot of things. It could be as simple as what was said earlier. The team is trending in the wrong direction and there's no time like the present to make a change. Or it could be because young players especially have a harder time responding to Malone's type of coaching style. Yahoo Sports, Malone always wanted veterans. Booth always wanted young guys. They never saw eye to eye. They never liked each other. They went through stretches where they didn't speak to each other this season. Here's the deal though. Who do we look to next? Okay, David Adelman. He's the son of former NBA coach Rick Adelman. He's going to serve as the interim head coach. He's been an assistant with the Nuggets since 2017. The question is though, and it's really the big question every time a coach gets fired in my opinion, it's this. Is a coaching change really going to boost players' effort levels and make up for roster deficiencies? For boosting players' effort levels, it can. The question is, will it last? And for making up for roster deficiencies, I tend to lean on the side of no. Much respect to everyone on the Nuggets roster, but Jokic's supporting cast outside of Jamal Murray, who's dealt with frequent injuries, it just isn't on the level of championship contenders like Boston, Cleveland, Oklahoma City, and heck, maybe even the Lakers. But let me know in the comments down below, what's the real reason why Denver decided to part ways with the winningest coach in their franchise's history this close to the playoffs, and how will it affect Nikola Jokic's future? And for more on the thing that could swing the MVP race in Jokic's favor, check out the video in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, and I'll be back with another episode of Topic Tackle coming soon. As always, stay solid, people.